Hey guys, it's Jen. I am tackling this cupboard today. Some people call it a Lazy Susan. I call it the turny cupboard because it turns, I don't know. So I call this the turny cupboard, and that's what I'm cleaning out today. I've gone through all of the other cupboards multiple times over the last year, and this one has not been touched. It's pretty bad. So this is where we keep things like baking powder, baking soda, all of our different types of flours, our sugars. We do have a couple jars out on the counter, but mass majority is kept in here, and it's bad. The shelves themselves are dirty. They haven't been cleaned up because my kids like to do a lot of baking, and so they don't always keep it as tidy as I keep it when I'm baking. So it's pretty bad. It's pretty dirty. Got one of our stock pots in here. So I'm gonna have to pull everything out, go through it, refill jars with bags if necessary, make sure things are properly labeled. Then I'm gonna have to scrub the whole thing out and organize it again. So I thought I would just show you what that's gonna be like, maybe inspire you to go clean your own turning cupboard. Alright, I got everything pulled off, and as you can see, it's just really dirty. Lots of spilled things. As I said, my kids like to do a lot of baking, and it gets pretty dang messy. So I'm going to get all this wiped down, and then I have got to go through all of this stuff and get it organized. Alright, so it's all done. I'll show you how it looks. So up top I have just some baking stuff. I didn't realize I had 2 new things of cocoa. Oopsie. So cocoa, and then the opened one. We have a big thing of baking powder from Costco. I have another one in the pantry for when this one runs out. Cornstarch, baking soda. That is to thicken gravy. It's called Wondra. We only have gravy like once a year. So that's in there, and then I have our oils. We have avocado oil, olive oil, and coconut oil. We also have vegetable oil, but we don't actually use that to eat with. I use it when we make certain Play-Dohs and things like that. And I don't want to use my olive oil. And then our little popcorn machine. And then down here we have our flowers. So I have a big container. When we visited Willow Creek Homestead back in December. She gave us a box of these big cherry jars, and they're awesome. So once that gets really low, I'll just refill it from the bag over here. We get this from Costco. I have almond flowers here. When I open one of them, I'll go ahead and put it in a jar then, but I didn't want to open it and put it in a jar before I was ready to use it. Oat flour, cake flour. Here's our big bag of flour from Costco. Powdered sugar. Now, let me talk about the sugars because there's a lot of them. We primarily use organic sugar and coconut sugar. I really like coconut sugar. I don't like my stuff to be super sweet. I like to really be able to taste the rest of the flavor in it. So my preference is coconut sugar. I'm out right now. You buy it from Azure Standard. That's the best price and it's really good quality. And I just haven't done it yet because it's a whole separate trip in and of itself to pick it up. It's just kind of out of the way. So we keep things like powdered sugar on hand for baking for like activities at church, cost-wise and everything. Other people, they don't care, and so I'm going to use that for them. And also I use our white sugar for sugar scrub. I make a really awesome sugar scrub. So powdered sugar, this is usually out on the counter, but I decided to put it in here just to keep my counters cleaner. And I haven't been doing as much baking, so that's where we put our organic sugar, and then the rest of it is in a big jar back here because it does not all fit in here. We get a big bag from Costco. We have a little bit of raw sugar left. I'm trying to remember where we got this. This might have been Costco, I can't remember. Brown sugar, here's white sugar and a big container of white sugar. We had like a half of a bag and then we bought another bag because we forgot, but anyway, there it is. I use up probably at least a cup of it when I make a sugar scrub. So that is the Tourney cupboard, or the Lazy Susan, or whatever you call it. I'm really not sure what I'm going to call this video. So that is all done. It's cleaned out. I even pulled it this way and wiped out anything that I could reach back here on both sides, and I wiped down the front so it looks a lot better. I'm really happy with how it turned out. This is what I pulled out of the cupboard. This is quinoa flour, and it smells terrible, and brown rice flour, which also smells terrible. I bought them like 2 years ago though, and it was for a crepe recipe that didn't turn out, and I really just haven't used them. I emptied this into the jars. I prefer the jars. If it's open, I like to have it in a jar if at all possible. I feel like it just lasts better that way. It doesn't get any moisture in it. We don't get any mice in it. We had a mouse problem our second summer here, and once we put pretty much everything in the pantry in jars, we haven't had a mouse problem since then. So this one had a little bit left and was just sitting open, so I'm tossing it. Sugar thingy is, this has a tiny bit left and smells a little off, so I'm tossing that. And then we ground a bunch of this up, and this kind of got hidden back there, and fresh ground stuff like this doesn't last a super long time, and it's been months, so that's being tossed, unfortunately. And then I have jars to wash. So I think it was a success. It didn't take me a super long time. With kid interruptions, the battery on the camera needing to go get charged, having to run around and find a Sharpie to label my jars. It took probably 40 minutes, which really isn't terrible. I don't even think it took really that long. I'm trying to remember what time I came down here. But probably about 40 minutes. But I did have to go referee the kids multiple times. So, wanted to mention, I do write with Sharpie on my glass jars. It washes right off. I've never had a problem with it coming off. I used to use those stickers, the chalkboard stickers, and write on it with a liquid chalk marker. But those don't actually hold up fantastic. Anytime that my kids had anything, damp hands, sweaty hands, they were baking, had anytime anything wet or damp got on them at all, they would smudge, and it was a pain having to go and fix that. And then they could kind of go through the wash, but actually if I wanted to use the jar for something else, the chalk didn't completely come off great. So I highly recommend just writing on it with a Sharpie. It does come off of glass and it works really well. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and it has inspired you to go clean out something in your house. I'm sorry about the birds chattering in the background. They're just happy little things today. So I will talk to you all later. Thanks for watching. Bye.